Hello, friends. Hello, buddies. It's a wonderful day for fun. Alright, let's get into the live stream. Live stream. Live stream. We're going to do a little more UI programming today, and I'm going to make, I think we're going to make an interactable. It's probably going to be the sink. So, let's make this sink an interactable. We're going to make a scene. Call the scene sink. Sink. Scene. I don't know. Slink. Sink. Oh, it's slink. Sink. Let's open the. Where did it go? Oh, that's a folder. Okay. 3D scene. Look at that. Alright, what are we doing? Oh, I'm thinking for this on dialogue start and on dialogue complete. I'm thinking about if this should not even be part of like the dialogue data. I'm wondering. What else seems necessary? The portrait, the text, and the name. I think the name should come next. On dialogue start, on dialogue. Should you skip the animation? What else would we might need? You cannot fall. Right. Yeah. Hmm. I quite like these OSTs. Alright. These are Kotagi ass OSTs. I think these are widely applicable OSTs. Now, what was I doing with this sync? I'm not sure. Kind of forgot. Give me my text editor back. And an object named dungeon entrance. Now, if man, look at this shit trying to read my mind. Do you see that? Satanic. Satanic. Ding ding. I'm thinking right now about how this dialogue system is going to work in code, and I think I'm like, how do I put it? I think I'm approaching an idea of what I want. I don't know if we have it quite down just yet. Here we go. So if you find something named the sync, yep. Melancholic and autistic. Wow. How you doing, Nut Bustly? How Joey's okay? I hadn't seen him in a while. I ain't seen Comic Man in a while. How's it going? Well, I asked you how's it going, but for me, it's going okay. It's going alright. we're working on some of the stuff to do with this sync. I'm gonna use this sync as like our first dialogue interactable. Last we saw him, he was freaking out over some deadline. I'm sure his sleep schedule. You talking about Comic Man? Or I know Joey Chimney also had a deadline thing going on. I don't know if it's a. I don't think it was a deadline. I think it's just he's working on something for a VTuber, and she's like schizophrenic, which is not a good combo for. That's not a good combo to work for. To be financially dependent on. All right. So the goal. The goal. First of all, I think we can actually do something here. Dialogue. I think in here we're going to have a ton of just data. So would it be public dialogue data? I'm doing okay too. Life is alright. It's a very okay week. It's very it's alright. We're gonna call this link. Link talk to self 0. New dialogue data. This sync looks different. What the hell is this? This sync looks different from the others. That's really funny. That's really funny. Public. I think this is how we're going to be doing all of our dialogue trees, and then on the dialogue complete we can put a function call to whatever. I'm not going to do this though. I'm going to have it print something. What did I name my player? It's just player. No. Player dot node dot velocity. I don't know. Wowee. What? A field initializer cannot reference the non-static field. I see. Actually, yeah, that makes complete sense. Okay. What is it gonna be? I want it to be like... one plus 4. Okay. Now, in here, we can replace this. What did I name that function? Dialog start. Dialog start. Do you think this is going okay? Actually, you're probably doing your own thing. I'm. I don't know. I've never made something like this before. I don't know if this is like a non-standard way to do it. 5 wowee. Okay, okay, we're getting somewhere. Copy path. Now we're gonna need a update function. We're gonna have to give each of these. What are you trying to make? We're making a dialogue. So I press E, it does this. We're gonna animate it later, but right now, I don't know if I like this OST. I don't like this OST. I don't like that OST either. I like this OST. We need to give it a lifetime. So, how are we gonna do that? Public float lifetime. Just like that. Now we're going to need a dialog start, dialog update. Not visible, return. So we know it's visible. Now, dialog box has a. I think this needs a lifetime too. And then on dialog start, okay. Dialog box. Lifetime. Minus what? Let's see what happens. And then if it's less than or equal to 0. I also probably want to unload all that data. I'm not sure. We'll just see what happens. Okay, so she's there for a second. 1 full second she's there for.
Ooh. Looks right. Ding 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 ding. I think I can just copy this. I think I need to make a separate thing. Look at dialog data. I remember around this time a year ago, I thought, oh, I need a dialog system. I guess I have to use a JSON file. I guess I have to use XML. As it turns out, I did not.
Oh. How do I make it generate a texture? Godot. Ding, 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 ding. You know what I'm gonna do? I don't know why I didn't do this the first time. The tutorials for Godot are still in their infancy. I haven't looked. I wouldn't say they're in their infancy. I'll just say, how do I put this? Godot tutorials are where Unreal tutorials have an Indian problem. Godot tutorials have an autism problem. There's a lot of Chip James and there's a lot of Liliths. There's a lot of Chip James and there's a lot of Liliths. Neither of those two groups are very good. There's actually a pretty, I think it's universal, but people making tutorials that don't know what they're talking about. It's tragic. Those who can't do teach. That's a pretty good. That's kind of facts. That's kind of facts. My uncle offered to do ayahuasca. Wait, what is ayahuasca? Is that a medicine drug? Is that a medicine drug? Psychoactive brew. Ah, I'm going crazy! Ah! That's me after I take 1 grams of ayahuasca. That's me after I take 1 grams of ayahuasca. Anyway, we're going to make a new portrait today. Open with GIMP. We're gonna make a new portrait. Okay, how do I make this like a perfect grid? Can I make a grid? I need a grid. We're making a missing texture today, guys. Are y'all excited? Missing texture! Yippee! GIMP Pro? Facts. Look, all my buddies are showing up today. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? All my buddies are showing up. Wow. This shit looks so cool. It's gonna get cooler. It's gonna get cooler, don't worry. Slaves? Nah. Actually, I don't know, but I would like everyone to welcome our newest moderator. Woo! 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 Wowee! Wowee! I jump in the air. I jump in the air and I clap my feet together. You're in a good mood today? I guess I am in a good mood today. I thought I was in a bad mood, but I'm in a pretty good mood, I guess. What can I say? The rumors are true. Now trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the process. Process. Perfect. Why can't I merge down? Merge down. Wow. Now we're going to index our colors. We're going to index these colors. Image, mode, indexed. Okay. We've indexed our colors. Damn, y'all are putting things in my chat room. I don't know how. Facts. Nice floating point drag controls. You already know. You already know. But nah, it's gonna get even better. It's gonna get even better. Let me open Blender real quick. Let me open Blender real quick. Now Busty knows what I'm finna do. Actually, no, he doesn't. But anyone who's been here for a long enough time has a possibility of picking up on what I'm about to do. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? We going in the file directories. We going in the models folder. We going in the shading tab. We going in the copy. We going in the select by color. We going in the brush. We going in the pencil tool. We going in the size modifier. We going in the I forgot to index the colors. We going in the size mod. We going in the that's the wrong color. 3DO 691. Y'all already know. We going in the other one. We going in the invert selection. We going in the HTML notation. We going in the pixel brush. Look at that. That's our missing texture. Look at our wonderful missing texture. Isn't that wonderful? What's in the jokes folder? Can I show off my jokes folder? I need to see if I need to check over here. I want to see if I get banned for my jokes folder. I might get banned for my jokes folder. I'm being honest. I might get banned for this jokes folder. I have a I have a no YouTube section of my jokes folder that has shit that I cannot show on a live stream. I want to show you, but I do want to show you guys something in my jokes folder. Now ignore all this crap. Ignore all this crap. Where is it? Where is it? Also, don't pay attention to any of these names. Let me just... Oops. Look at my collection, guys. Look at them go. If any of you guys need an already dark-skinned person to be even darker, DM me. I'm your guy. I'm your guy. Yeah, you're just racist. I'm not just racist. I'm a lot of things. If that's the vanilla jokes. Who's next to LTG? Hold on. Let me... Jokes. Let me reopen that. I don't remember. That's Nero. We need to get back to work. We need to get back to work. We're gonna call this missing texture. Yeah, sure. I'll probably make an actual one later, but this one will work for now. Who the fuck? I don't need this. This doesn't even work. What's the difference between dialogue and dialogue? I think dialogue is a different thing. I think dialogue refers to like... Hold on. Is it? I think dialogue is like referring to... It's like a window. It's like a little command window that pops up. I think so. Back to work. We are not getting work. There's too much fun. There's too much fun. We need more work. We need more work. Damn, why my message got deleted? What happened? Let me see. It might be... I might have the top chat open. I wonder if the people on Twitch have to... Do y'all still have to watch ads? Or does my stream not have ads? I hope it doesn't have ads. I made a comment. No. Man, you ain't gotta look at all that now. You don't gotta look at all that. You don't gotta look at all that. That ain't... All streams have ads? I don't have turbo, so okay. I'm using an ad blocker. I'm not giving you money. I don't want your money. I have a real job. However, is it linked? It isn't. Okay. I think all streams get ads. That sucks. That sucks. I think if I ever catch on, I'd like to I would like to host the streams additionally on like my own website for people to watch without ads. You can choose between pre-roll and mid-roll. Huh. That folder name was crazy. I don't know, it was so great. I don't know about no folder name. But I would like everyone to welcome our newest moderator. What is your game? This game, we don't have a name for it yet. But the game is about Pikmin 2 and the Apple M1 chip. This game is about the Apple M1 chip. What were we working on? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's no work getting done today. There's no work getting done today. I'm getting pissed off. My jimmies are getting rustled. My jimmies are getting rustled. Yeah. I press E. That should be there for a second and it goes away. Great. Great. Now... equips his sword. Ah. Every man a moderator. You are not supposed to see this. That is wonderful. That is exactly what I wanted. Okay. Okay, now what? Unk. We're gonna do some work. We gotta get some work done. We gotta get some work done. Now, when the dialogue is over, we're gonna have an end dialogue function. Public void dialogue end. The first thing we're gonna do is... what do we do? SMH? What you shaking your head for, Torball? What are you shaking your head for? Ain't nobody engaged in hurtful activity. I'm dead. Thanks. We need to store these for later. So when I do okay. Public, I'm gonna make another structure, which is... Or should I just put this in the dialog box? There's a lifetime. Dialogue, what? Public, action. On dialogue complete. I'm working on the art right now. What does trying to start mean? You either started or you didn't. That is true. You should... Oh my bad. Dude, this shit's going too fast for me to fucking read. Oh my god. I'm trying to start making a game myself. Well, this music is loud as shit. This music is loud as shit in my ear. But, may I suggest a good place to start? A very good place to start is right here. Is raiding with a party of 1. Whoa! I didn't know that's a thing. While I have a viewership, everyone, this is an order. Download raylib. It's a library. It's small. You can fit it on your computer. And this is where I would recommend that you begin or start making a game if you have not already started. Additionally, I would like for everyone to welcome our newest Moderator! Woo! What is it for? How big? It's raylib. I would say it's a competitor. It's competing for the same stuff as Godot and what? It's competing with Unreal and Godot, but in my opinion it's much better because it's not a game engine, it is a graphics library. It's a graphics library that does some stuff other than graphics, which is very nice, and I found it a very big pleasure to work with in a way that Godot is not a pleasure to work with. You get a mod, fat, every man a moderator. I'm on that. Hold on, let me find the image. This is me. I'm gonna face dox myself. This is my dox. I look like this. This is what I look like. Hot, thank you. Hands off the merchandise. I use Unity. I like Unity. I'm just kidding, I hate Unity. There was a dude in the viewer list. Hold on, let me... Bro doesn't realize he was his own one viewer. It's fine. It's fine. Who cares? It's a wonderful thing. A new moderator. I'm tired, so good night. Alright, goodbye, friend. But for the rest of us, we do not sleep here. We be game deving. You hear that? We be game deving. I need to fucking focus on this game. Skewered the unitard, let's go. What did you do? You said unitard and I read it like it was an insult. But not like a clothing item. I have no idea how to design my ground sprites for pixel art stuff. I'm not a pixel art person, so I have no idea. I do 3D. I do 3D. I design them, just make the art. That's actually, I think that's better advice than you might think it is. I know a big black man who loves game deving, and I tell him that all the time. No thinking, no more thinking, just game deving. 3D is so hard. I started doing 3D because I thought, oh, it's a lot easier. I can just go in Blender and make a model, and that takes 0 effort compared to drawing. And for a while, I thought I was wrong. For a while, I thought actually this drawing stuff is pretty hard. I thought this 3D modeling stuff is actually pretty hard. I was wrong about how easy it was. And now, it's almost 2 years later. It's only now I realized I was actually right the first time. This is pretty brainless and easy. Anyone can do that. Okay. My mind is so scattered today. Dialog box, we have the on dialog complete. Chink. A chink. 3D art is the most compressed form of art if it's low poly. I don't know if my stuff is... People used to say my stuff is low poly. I don't know if it still is low poly. I just feel like it's a normal amount of poly. There's less vertices in a cube than even the smallest pixel art sprite. Who is that? Who is this? Who is this? I'm putting you on blast. Who are you? Get out! I hate this person. I'm angry at this person. I hate this person. I'm angry at this person. Best viewers. I don't want good viewers. I don't want good viewers. Hooah! That's me spitting. Hooah! I don't want good viewers. I want the worst of the worst. I want scoundrels. What am I fucking doing? God damn it. Okay. Dialog box lifetime. How about dialog box? Is there anything else I need to copy? Should freeze player. No, I'm not gonna need that. Oh wow. Let me click on that link. This site can't be reached. I can't click on that link. It doesn't do anything. That's horrible. I can't believe it. It's not a link. Anyway. What am I? I'm copying this stuff. What's the goal? The goal is... which sucks at detecting URLs. What's the difference between a URL and a link? I thought those were the same thing. That's what I was thinking. The URL is just the text itself, and the link is the thing that the URL like goes to. Same thing. Same thing. Okay, what else do we need to do when it ends? Dialog box. Dialog box, speaker, name, label, text equals okay. My juices ain't flowing right now. Neither am I. Getting very little work done today, and it's pissing me off. Oh, I love these OSTs. I love this OST. Doesn't this just get you happy and giddy? Oh, you can fix them later. Yeah. I would genuinely suggest, if you don't know anything about how to draw and you do not enjoy learning to draw, if you don't enjoy learning, it is a lot easier to get into 3D modeling, I found, than it is to get into drawing. When you're in 3D, you can just kind of bash your head against a wall, and get the results you need. You'll get it if you, even if you're bad, you'll get the thing you need after a long enough amount of time. And getting good just makes it faster to get what you want. Been doing pixel art for 5 years, the juices just ain't there. I got you. What do you suggest to someone trying to learn Blender? I never did the donut tutorial. And I wouldn't even... I think... The first thing I did when I designed this character was I had a color palette that I wanted to do. I had this like red, brown, and gold color palette, and I wanted to do something with that. There are early versions of this character which don't look, I think, as good. Let me have a models folder. I used to do much more low poly type stuff. And some people still consider my stuff low poly, but I don't think it's really. Okay, so this is the most recent modeling. She has a gun. And I mean, if I go in this mode, you can see like how many polys there are, kinda. I wouldn't say it's enough. It's reasonable. If I close this, this is the old model that I made like, what was this, 2 years ago? It's more colorful, and I still kind of like this design. You can see on this model, I closed the other one. On this model, the arms are connected to the torso in a way that they would not be connected to the torso later. And what else? Yeah, it's just I was satisfied with this at the time that I made it. It's only retroactively, now that I made a second one, I'm like, ooh, I can do a lot better. You can see with this one, the arms. I think this was one of the biggest things I've had to learn, is that when it comes to arms and such, things that stick out don't need to be a part of the same mesh. And a good habit I got early on was to be very autistic about like quads and making sure everything on my model was a quad. You can see here, this doesn't look much like a quad. That's because this is actually imported. If I did this, you would see everything as a quad. Almost everything. There are a few triangles. But being particularly, caring a lot about everything being a quad, I think gave me a lot of discipline with making a model, which is something that people need, is discipline, even if it's like a little misguided sometimes. I want to get into 3D Blender stuff, but I'm just too OCD. I think if you are OCD, it's all the better to get into Blender. It makes it even better. You'll do better work. What is this? Oh, I think I've seen this before. The other suggestion I might have is I've never found it very effective to just like learn. Maybe mon. I got it. You're not even there. Old buddy isn't even there. So of course, every man a moderator. I find tutorials that like try to teach you everything and they don't have a specific goal of something they want to teach you. I've always found them to be somewhat ineffective. I think a tutorial is much better when it's very focused on like this is how you do this thing. This is how you do whatever like you're stuck on. That's why I never fucked with the That's why I never fucked with that donut tutorial. I don't care about because I don't fuck with the donut tutorial because I don't need to make a fucking donut. If I wanted to make a donut, I would go to that donut tutorial. The skills are transferable. I don't give a shit if the skills are transferable. I don't want to make a fucking donut. When I'm in Blender and I'm trying to make something and I can't figure it out, I look up Blender, how to, I don't know, how to bridge edge loops, I guess. I like the donut tutorial because now I understand a good chunk of Blender's tools. I'm not hating on people who have benefited from the donut tutorial, but I do not like the fucking donut tutorial. I don't want no fucking donut, Morgan. Now, speaker name, speaker portrait, speaker text. It seems everything's doing its time. Let's see if this goes well. And I think tomorrow we're gonna figure out this whole calling. We call an array of functions at the end. That seems to work. I think tomorrow we're gonna figure that part out. You don't want to do it because everyone else is doing it? I don't want to do it because I don't want no fucking donut milk. I thought that noise was you banging your mouse every time. No. Recently we were working on sounds. And I put footsteps in the game. I can make the footsteps really loud. I could make these footsteps real loud. See, I can play these at 1.1 volume. It uses a custom sound system I invented, which makes it sound a lot cooler than it really is. I sent the image of my beautiful. Let me see these donuts. Where are the donuts? I'm ready for your donuts. If it'll send, I got you. You got Albanian internet, don't you? You got Albanian internet. I have like chapped lips. It's a sliver. I got you. Those are some pretty good looking donuts. I like those donuts. Those are well made. I'd eat one. I would eat one. What was I just doing? What was I doing? What was I doing? What was I doing? I don't want the footsteps to get involved. They were fun to make. I believe it. Was it cycles? Cycles render? You need your lips unchapped, boy? I might. Let me check. The way I apply chapstick. I hold the chapstick in front of my face. And then I use only lip movements to apply the chapstick. I don't be moving my wrist like that. I don't be moving my wrist like that in front of my face. I don't be moving my forearm like that in front of my face. I be doing pure lip movements on the chapstick. Is Cycles the better one? Cycles is the... Cycles is the one that looks better, but it takes a long time. It's fat. Yeah. I think we're ready now. Data. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Now let's see if this works. I have a GPU, so Cycles is alright. Who moves their forearm? I just move my wrist. I hold steady the chapstick betwixt my fingers in front of my face. From then, I go on, and without moving my arm, I keep my arm steady like a chicken's beak. I keep it steady, and I move my lips to apply the chapstick. I don't move my head at all. My neck is stationary. My head is stationary. There's no movement here. There's no movement in my arm. It's pure lip movement. It's pure lip movement. You're not supposed to see this, are ya? Well, am I supposed to see this? What? Why? I think I know why. It's overriding. Okay. I have an idea. I have to make a new function. Spotlight or dialog. Duplicate this, create interaction. We're making a lot of code today. I'll tell you what. We're making a lot of code today. Now, public void. We can clean this up later, but for now I just want this working. There we go. Now, let's see. Is animating in Blender easy? I have zero animation experience. I've made I think I've made 3 walk cycles in my entire life. And this is what the third one looks like. You can see we have a little rotation action for whatever direction you're trying to go in. This is the third animation I've ever made. And I think it looks alright. I think it looks acceptable for now. So I'd probably say the total amount of time I've spent animating has been like maybe 1 full day. I think you can learn a lot if you like focus. But that's just me. I'm trying to lock in for this player character, I just don't know how. Maybe think about some stuff you want to... I would say if you choose a few things that you like and that you want to be similar to. Now ultimately, when you're making something, my observation has been that you don't have a choice but to make something unique. People get really paranoid about like being a copycat. And trying to be a copycat is not a good thing. But ultimately, the reason why it's bad for you to just copy something is because you're not going to even do a good job copying it, no matter how hard you try. Which is to say, if you do copy something, if you do like, I don't know, like if you fuck with Dark Souls, and if you fuck with Demon Souls, but you also fuck with like, what? You also fuck with Satisfactory, or like Factorio. You can try to copy those things and try to like mush them together, but I think you're gonna be left with something original whether you like it or not. I don't think it's a bad idea to reference things that you already like. A lot of this character design I have now is descendant from me liking the way Sonic characters are designed. I spent a lot of time studying like the way Sonic characters are designed. That's kind of how I got this. Ultimately, that's how I got this. But I wouldn't say that this design is like copying Sonic the Hedgehog. I know I want the character to look kind of like a magical engineer. Referencing things helps with preparations. Yeah. What's your process? You shape the body and then the clothing over it? Yeah. You kind of start with like a mesh, like you can kind of see it. I open the model up. I go in edit mode. You can kind of see it. Like, yeah, this used to, like, you can kind of see that this used to be a cube that I just extruded a bunch. And, like, this collar area is just me extruding, like, with normals. And, like, oh, this dress was a cylinder, right? These vectors slurping me. Ever since I figured out how to draw arrows in Unreal, the vector math has been going crazy. Like, good thing or bad thing? I feel like once you have it down, you have it, like, pretty down. Like, a vector can represent a position or it can represent a... People say a vector represents a direction, but the way I found myself thinking of it, and that I found is, like, actually useful, is that it represents a position. It's like coordinates. It is literally just coordinates. And it's just, by default, those coordinates are considered to be relative to 0, 0. But also those coordinates could be relative to any other position. So when you have two positions, you have a direction, you have an arrow. I understand direction and magnitude, yeah. I know that's what people say, and that's like the mathematical whatever. But I've found my learning to be much easier thinking about it just as a position. And then rotations are not vectors. Rotations are not 3D vectors. Those are quaternions, and they would be much easier if it was just accepted that they are quaternions. I just think of Despicable Me. Direction and magnitude. I agree. Oh yeah. My geometry teacher showed us vectors from that and saying direction and magnitude. Direction and magnitude. Oh yeah. Now let's see if this works. Does nothing. But wishy-washy, I wash my hands in the sink. That is wonderful. So should I not bother with shade smooth and try to stick to low poly? I think low poly... How do I put this? I mean, you know the phrase like limitations spark creativity, and that is kind of true. Um, there was a long time where I would stick to low poly, and I would like try to maximize, like, not maximize, but minimize the amount of vertices that the model needed to like still be the same model. I find it useful. There are other people who would disagree with me and tell you that you should just use however many you want. I think that there is a lot of merit to purposely giving yourself restrictions. And then later on, like, you'll know, and I know that you'll know because I knew, when it's okay to use a triangle. And you'll know when it's okay to give this area a little density. It's like you have to, I don't, maybe it's not actually, I thought it was analogous when I started the sentence, but I realize now it's not analogous, but the phrase, you need to know what the rules are before you can effectively break them. That's not analogous, but I think it's the same kind of spirit. Which is actually, that is true for the triangle thing. You are not supposed to just be using triangles willy-nilly. They have a distinct purpose, which is to create geometry out of nothing. You know, it's to create geometry without needing a loop, because otherwise you're just going to be creating loops everywhere. And that's just kind of necessary. Like, for example, if you're modeling a human, the chest area is probably not going to be as densely populated as your wrist. The wrist is probably going to have a lot more vertices than it really needs. And if you want to have an even distribution of vertices and edges and all that, then triangles are pretty much the only way to do that. There's some things you can do, but those things require you to make loops. And those loops might not be good for your edge flow for one reason or another. Starting with a sphere head and trying to think how I should go after extruding a neck. Usually I start with a body. I start with the body as just like a cube. I've never really done sculpting. I do box modeling. I'm not very good at or know much about how to do sculpting. I'm kind of box model Andy. So I don't know how much I can help with sculpting, I'm being real. It is now my area of expertise. Ding, 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 ding. I'm not sculpting, that sounds awful. Yeah. I would start with the torso. I would get things like just the silhouette first. Just to like get the height that you want and the like very basic shape. I would use like, I use orthogonal a lot when I'm starting out. Like the orthogonal views. You click on the compass like this. Do I need this light anymore? Honestly, I feel like I don't. I feel like it's not adding much anymore. It did back when it was really dark. But the scene is not so dark anymore. Should these be returning? Let's see if this works. Wishy-washy, wash my hands. I wash my hands in the sink. Wonderful. Now let's make it so if dialog box node visible return, try that. Okay. Can we make this dialog box? First of all, there's a lot going on. Can we make this like text come out? Godot text. Hmm. I'm just looking on the internet right now. I'm noticing this. What was the hotkey for like inverting? I should look at or inverting. Trying to think what you mean by inverting. Assuming you mean Blender. Control I? Is that what you mean? This? A lot of things that have a hotkey you'll find up here, and it's just you look for the thing, and then it'll tell you if it has a hotkey, and if it does, I think it's always worth it to try to like put the hotkey in your memory. I know a dude that models, and he does not use hotkeys at all. He just like he just goes up here and he's like, add light, Y, control, and he's not bad at Blender, but oh my god, I cannot imagine being like that. You select the face and scale it inwards, and then you can push in or out. Okay. I think what you're talking about is E. There's two keys that do something. You can go in Blender, you can press E to extrude, and there's a couple different kind of extrudes you can do. There's an extrude manifold, which is useful, but there's also along normals, and there's also, I put this like kind of out here. There's a difference between extruding like this, and there's also extrude individual faces. Additionally, there's a special kind of extrude, and I think this is just a kind of extrusion, but there's also, if you press I, it'll do this. You can press I to do this, and there's settings for it. It's E and S. Yes, E and S. There's also I. I is important, I use that a lot. I'll just play with these. Just play with it, honestly. It's fun. That's what I wanted? Yes. Another important thing that was very useful for me is that I use it all the time, is to be conscious of this pivot point. There's a difference between individual origins. So for example, if I extrude this a little bit, I extrude this a little bit. See what happens if I scale this while I'm in individual origins mode? It'll make the edges smaller, right? The origin will be at the geometric center of each island of your selection. Meanwhile, if I go to 3D cursor here, it will be relative to your 3D cursor, and they'll move like this, which is completely different. And I believe median point is the median point between all of your selections. How do you get the cool color change and outline? I have a specific Blender theme. What's another thing that's very useful? F. F is how you fill things in. If you want to fill things in, let's say for example, you have an n-gon here, right? This is an n-gon, which you don't want. N-gon is any face that has more than 4 sides. Even if those sides are flat, this is still an n-gon. Even though it looks like a cube, this is still an n-gon. And something you might want to do is bridge these. If you press F, you're going to get something strange. F does not connect those in the way that you'd think they do. You see that? That's just a line. That's just a line. If you want to bridge two edges, You don't use F, you use J, and it joins them. Now you can see it did this correctly. So in short, you use F if they're not connected, but if they're already connected by a face, you use J. Or else you'll get problems, and they will be pretty big. Those are big problems if you use F. If you use F in this situation, it looks identical. It looks identical, but if I do this, you can see the difference better. If I do F, there's just a line in there. You do J, there's no line. And I'm kind of harping on it, but it is something that really screwed me over one time. And now you can see, now we can create these nice, you know, quads. Somewhat nice quads. And have some decent, nice topo. What are you suggesting for trying to make a hand? I'm doing low poly. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I do not like modeling hands either. I modeled one hand 2 years ago, and I just keep copying and pasting in it on every model that I need to have a hand. I'd honestly... What I did, and I'm not going to suggest you do this because maybe some people would consider it stealing. I downloaded a high poly hand, and I just modeled a low poly one over it, and I was pretty much just like, you know, stealing. Don't tell nobody, that's a secret, but that's what I did. It is not a pleasure, and they all look the same. Who cares? You can edit it later. Just make one hand and it's done forever. That's my suggestion. Maybe it's not a good one. Anyway. When we begin the dialogue begin. Dialogue text label the text. Dialogue box, dialogue text label dot visible ratio equals 0. Let's see. My thumb looks so weird. Yeah, you'll figure it out. Thumb is hard. I can honestly here. The topology for the hands I use is like pretty somewhat standard. Ah, fuck. I forgot when I modeled it. Oh. Alright, let's just... quads. Does that work? A little bit. Here you go. You see here, this is a good example of like triangles, is for the gaps between the hands. Oh, these are fucking mittens. God damn it, I forgot I made mittens. I actually did okay. Yeah. Some area is kind of weird. I have a couple tries around here. You can see. Actually, these I don't think are supposed to be. There we go. Ding, ding. Anyway. Oh, we'll work on that metal some other time. He's my guy so far. Honestly, at the stage you're at, I wouldn't even be modeling fingers. I would just be modeling, like, I would just give him stubs until you need hands. It's looking alright so far. Maybe I'd get a front view. But no, you're doing good work. I'm glad the stream has calmed down a little bit. It was getting hectic earlier. Now I can get work done. Trims text. Thanks, I got you. Hmm. Public float text reveal speed. I should just call it text speed. Wowee. Yeah. I know what the problem is. Now let's try. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Now, instead of this being the visible ratio, there we go. How should I do the head? Let me check again. It's looking alright. For the head, there's a website called Models Resource. And you can look at some like old games, see what they do. You can download them. Like, I'm not gonna tell you to copy them, but you know, you can download them and then you have a 3D reference image, am I right? Like, I don't see a downside as long as you come out with something unique. Actually, if you are tempted to just like take someone's model and edit it, I did that like when I was starting out, and in retrospect, it was a lot harder to edit someone else's stuff than it was to just have their stuff as a reference image and then make it myself. So if you think that's going to be easier than doing it yourself, all I can tell you is that that is not quite correct. It's going to be harder to copy someone else's sloppy triangulated work than it is to use their stuff as a reference image and, you know, copy what you actually want. But they can give you a good direction of what you want. They can tell you what you want. It's kind of like you know the trick to get your mom to like pick a place to like eat at, or like I don't know, any, not even your mom, just any woman, is you give her options. That's the idea. You give her options, and then if she's still indecisive after you give her options, you pick one for her. And then after you pick one, she will let you know whether or not she approves. And you can do that to yourself, is the amazing thing. You can do that to yourself. Lump Cell Acme was iconic. I agree. I agree. I could just add a sphere and do that F button thing you talked about. F button. I don't know what F button is. The F button creates faces and edges between two vertices or two edges. I usually start with a cube, not a sphere. I very rarely do start with a sphere on anything. For me, it's always cubes and cylinders, and then if I want a sphere, I'll turn the cube or cylinder into a sphere. That's what I do nowadays. I very rarely feel a need to like have a sphere. There's a hotkey Shift Alt S that can turn anything you want into a sphere. You said to connect the pieces, I thought, the fill. J connects yeah, fill. Are you talking about like connecting a head to a body? If you're doing that, I would use bridge edge loops. It's really not important. Just like mess with things until you get what you want. Like, you've been in there for what, an hour, and you already have like a pretty good body? You know? Like, you seem like you're doing perfectly fine. Like, let me screenshot this. I'm putting you on blast. How do you bridge edge loop? I can go in Blender here in just a second. Like obviously these hands are a little awkward, and those aren't going to be like that in the final thing, but just for reference, yes, these are good hands. Topologically speaking, this is kind of an awkward twist. Like this twist, I think this is just one edge, not one edge, this is a single quad that's being kind of edged out. And I'm assuming you have something similar on the other side. I would just bite the bullet. Now, it is understandable because you do need a hole right here, right? You need a hole right here for the arm. You need a place for your arm to go. And this is an example, I think, where you would like want to just create geometry out of thin air. So I would turn this into triangle. Just make this triangle, and then this here is a quad. That there is a quad, and then behind that is another triangle. My voice cracked. I've been talking for too long. Not enough work getting done. I'm wondering how if I can do it by char. Not by char, by word. Well, he can only his back looks insane. Also, I see. Yeah, having clean topology is very important. I'm experienced enough that I know when I need a triangle. But in general, it's a good habit. The only thing with like quad only is that you should be cognizant like to make sure your quads don't bend and stretch and you know become too far removed from being rectangle shaped or like trapezoid shaped, I guess. Um, that's just another piece of like topology tip that's good for you. Is no triangle, no n-gon. No n-gon is just good all the time. There's never an excuse to make an n-gon ever. And I really mean never. Dialog box. This. That's what I want. What does it think? We're Python? They think we in Python. Oh man. There we go. We're gonna see if that works. I need it to be at least 1. If it's a decimal, then it's just not gonna do anything. Oh. I like this OST. This Danish girl wants to watch N-word scissor hands with me. Yeah. I watched that movie not that long ago. It's very nice. Your dialogue looks cool, you think so? I want to put a little animation on it. I am a fan of the shape. I'm liking the shape that we have right now, which is it takes up the entire screen and it's like at the bottom of the screen. I don't think I want it at the bottom of the screen. I want it to be big. Big and important. Why does no one read the dialogue in my game? And then they make the dialogue at the bottom of the fucking screen. I'm hating. I'm hating. Dirty boy. You dirty boy. Dirty. You dirty boy. I like that video. Maybe better. Let's see, how do I connect the head to the neck? Let me go in Blender real quick. I might as well just keep Blender open. So, let me just quickly make like a body and head. Do along normal. I'm assuming of a head kind of like this. I got like action going on. A similar situation here. Right. Split this half. Okay, so we have a body and we have a head. Figure out how to under the hotkey. So I'm just okay. So you figured out how to do it, but I'm just gonna show you anyway what I would do at first, at least, which is I select these two, and actually it's very convenient. I didn't mean to do this, but these both have the same amount of faces, and you can just do this. And then you can like give it more or less cuts depending on like what you're doing. Like right now, this is kind of like a creature. This is a thing. This is a duck man. And then from here you can go in and like adjust it to look normal. Godot Engine. Probably move these down. Move this way. This way. Something like that. Then boom, you have a model. She's the one in the text I sent you, she went MIA for like a month. and then came back. Since she was gone, I started hanging out with this Danish girl. The girl I met up from the H3 Discord. Why? I'm not gonna preach at anybody, but damn. Do I make the head and body one thing? Okay, that I can tell you. So, let's add a cube here. I don't know, maybe this is like a lower body. It was a different object. And you select your final selection is going to be like the base. So here, because I want to merge this cube with the rest of my body, I make sure this thing is orange. Yours is going to be a different color, but I make sure mine is orange, and then it's Control J in object mode. And now they're the same object, even though they're not connected by vertices. So, that works. I like this character design. Hat. We're gonna give him a little hat. I can go in normal mode and Shift Z S to make this flat. It's just a tip. This is a little tip. I think we made a pea shooter from Plants vs. Zombies. I think we made a pea shooter. Hold on. It's beautiful. Yeah, gonna go. Neat little design. How do I give him clothing? Well, that's the thing. Clothing and skin are not really different. Um, like, okay, you kind of have a pelvis thing. I don't know. It's like, I mean, you saw how I gave this guy a hat, right? It's literally, I can do it again. Why don't I? Another thing I can give him. It's literally just, I just extruded this forward and I extruded this out, right? That's hat. You could make separate object for a hat, but there's a million ways you can do everything. I was forming the head. If I go back far enough. I cannot go back far enough. I was messing around too much. I do this. I pull faces. Pull budget. Vertices. So we're gonna recreate the hat. Let me just get us back to where we started. Roughly, like... Okay. So no hat. What's the most important thing about a hat? Well, the most important thing a hat has is the brim. We need the brim. Now, a brim doesn't quite go like that. Brim goes more like that. Brim goes more like that. The brim is kind of flat, so I control scale on the Z. Brim kind of flat. Brim kind of flat. Brim also a little more wide. Brim a little more wide. I want a wide brim hat. Not that wide. Okay. We're starting to get there, but it doesn't quite look like a hat yet. I'm gonna grab the edges of this brim and make them sharp. Right click, mark sharp. Now, the hat doesn't come off his head at all over here, so I'm just going to extrude these along their normals just a little bit. I'm gonna move it down so it looks a little better. Now, we have some extra mass up here that we can take. Honestly, so I can grab all these edges, these extra edges I don't need, and I can dissolve them, and you see that'll put us here. And there you go, we have a hat. Control N, or Alt N, face area. There you go, there's hat. To give the hat some depth, yeah. There you go, hat's done. See? Move this up a bit more hat-like various ways. These down, make the brim a little shorter. I'm just like narrating the process of giving this guy a hat. Select these, go in normal mode, scale Z0. I can Alt Shift S to make this a sphere, scale it down a little bit. There you go, now we got a pea shooter with a hat. It's like, it's easy. It's easy when you know all the shortcuts and how everything works. It really is like much easier than drawing, by far. And I don't say that for nothing. I have in fact drawn a picture myself. I've drawn a couple pictures myself. I made this. This was very, very hard and took a long, long time, and I had someone like giving me advice while I was doing it. That is all to say, drawing is very hard and 3D modeling is very easy, and anyone who says otherwise does not know what they're talking about. Or they are saying trying to save face because they're a 3D cell. This is the actual drawing. Beautiful specimen, thank you. What else have I drawn? Who the fuck is that? You ever see? I forgot you weren't around. I got a drawing tablet and I made this. I like to put more time into learning how to draw, but with all the game deving and the video editing stuff that I've started doing, I mean, I have the time, but who is this? This is the guy from the library. Is this the library? What other thing have I drawn? Y'all wanna see? Do y'all wanna see concept art for this game? I made concept art for this game. It's not good, but I had fun making it. I still like the idea that her shadow is like a light source, but I don't know how I do that in game. Joey called me stupid for doing this, but I think it looks cool. This was a good time. I had fun learning. I did. Drew a little Muslim girl. She's really small. Much smaller than this cup. What else do I have? This was the first thing I ever made. I wanna get like actually good with perspective stuff, but it is very hard, very difficult. Anyway, I think it's time to get back to work. What is going on? I remember what we were doing now. Trying to get this panel. I sent to art thing. Let me see. That's good. You're better than me at drawing, I can tell you that. I like it. Give this man fire emojis. Give this man fire emojis. Give him fire emojis. What is going? This is 3. Where is it getting an error? Get child 1. Yeah. Why is it not appearing correctly? I think I know. $80, $40. Now let's see. I have to go watch this movie. I'll see you later. Good progress. Thank you. Have fun watching your movie. I'm a fan of it. I like it. You are not supposed to see. What is the size of that texture? I thought I made it 160. Mentioned the 160 by 160. Why are these two things of the same size bigger or smaller than each other? Hey, how should I go about gloves unless I should just give the hands their own material to seem like gloves? Yeah. If you're gonna have what people do, some people do this for like shoes and feet. I know that I saw like a Twitter post about Skyrim doing this. You have the shoe model, and then if you need it to be hands, you put on a hands texture, and if you need it to be gloves, you put on a gloves texture. That sound is so loud. My bad. My bad. Is it really that loud? I mean, hold on. Let me check OBS. Okay, it is kind of loud. My bad. Let me make it quieter. Ding ding. That does not feel much quieter. That's better. You are not supposed to see this. You are not supposed to see this. I need to figure out why that texture is doing that. I think I like my guy basic and good enough for now. I don't need to perfect it. Yeah. You'll perfect it later. And you don't even, like right now, you don't even realize what stuff about it is not perfect. Which is good. Color time. Okay. Let's see if this works. Is character done font? How do I single out parts for color? Okay. That's where it kind of gets more complicated. That's definitely where it gets a little complicated. So, the first thing you need to do is, okay, let's just single some things out. Okay, so first thing we want to do is mark seams. So we'll want a seam right here, and we'll want a seam probably right here for this hat too, right? Let's mark a seam on the hat. And then, generally when you mark seams vertically like this, you want to mark them in places where they're less likely to be seen. You do have to learn how to mark seams before you do a lot of things, but it's not that bad. People say it's bad, I don't think it's that bad. It's like, okay. You have to do it. There's no choice. And then for the hat, we can just mark a seam all the way down the middle. We can just do something like this. Select these. And we can go select these. Clear. Okay. A little screwed. A little bit screwed. Delete these faces. This is just like prep work, and people dread doing this. So now that you have this, you should be able to unwrap your UVs somewhat cleanly. I do minimum stretch. And you see here, we have okay UVs. Now, we can select these by link You press L and it'll select, it'll select their scene by link. It'll link it, and we can create a new image. You have to go in the shading tab. This is like a terrible tutorial because I'm going way too fast. But if you have questions, I can just answer them on the fly, so it doesn't matter that it's a bad tutorial. You have to create a material. You go into Add, Texture, and then go to Image Texture. You can either import something or you can create a new one. You have to choose all the details around it. I'm going to make it rough. Now, this part is also actually pretty important. I was going to get to this later, but this is kind of important now. Is identifying different materials. So let's say this is the hat, right? That's the hat. And we're going to want a special hat material. So we're going to make a hat material. Because, oh, the plant is shiny, but the hat is matte. So the hat's going to be that. Plant is going to be green. So now, we select all the faces that pertain to our hat. Like this. Select these. And then we go in here and we assign in edit mode. And then when we go in object mode, you'll see they're assigned like so. And, we have this pot down here that we can select. And maybe we want a pot material. You can only create new materials in object mode for some reason. So you'd have to be cognizant of that. But we can assign that, and this will be our pot. We can make it brown. We can make it nice and brown like a good pot. And pots, this is a metal pot. It's a copper metal pot. Right? Copper metal pot. Okay, anyway. Now, for this texture, we can select this, link these, and we can unwrap minimum stretch. Now for textures, we can go in here, we can select everything like this, and we can use our paint bucket tool. And green, right? And I have a very, very specific workflow. So I selected everything to be green. And then what I would do is I would export this texture into GIMP. I would select that bright green part, and I would, maybe import a photograph of like plant material or a texture. And if I go to Slink, let me save this as like that guy. If I go to Slink, you can see that that's what I did. Right here for modeling this gun. If I select this, you can see these are this is the texture I came out with. And you can see it's kind of a mishmash of a bunch of textures all in one. And that's how I did it. I colored this entire thing. For example, this whole thing right here, this whole piece right here, this was all green. And then I went in, I searched for a blue metal texture. Sorry, I gotta take my dogs out. I got you. I got you. I'm here to help. Textures are so cool. I used to hate them. I still kind of hate them, but I've gotten used to them over time. Alright. We're probably going to end the stream here in about 10 minutes. Boy. It's funny. I'm back. What's good? We're probably gonna be ending the stream here in 6 minutes. I do have something to do today. But I'm just trying to wrap things up and get this all nice and sorted. I'm trying to think what's something I can get done quickly. I would like to do per word. I would like to do this per word. Not sure how. Maybe that'll be a project for next stream. I want to explore a liminal area. Ooh, look at my liminal area. Alright. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. I know what I can do. Is visible. Let's see about this. Visible. Alright, so now you're able to, like, skip through the dialogue. Wonderful. Wonderful, 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 wonderful! Alright. I think that's a good place to end the live stream. Thank you to everybody who came back. This was a very fun stream. I stream every day at 7 p.m. Starting 7 p.m. Chicago time zone. So that's when I do the live streams. And yep, this one is over. The live stream is over.